Australia is many things to many people. But whatever your story, we've all been touched in some way by our unique landscapes. Whether you're in the middle of the wilderness,
Oh my gosh.
or in the heart of the city. In this series, I'll be walking across this country,
Breathe it in.
revealing new stories every step of the way.
I come here to get homesick.
Meeting locals and experts,
This is bloody gold.
first Australians
She was taken from her country.
and new Australians.
Smile. Beautiful.
Yasu.
Yasu!
I'll discover new things about places we think we know.
So this is where you got sent if you were a naughty boy.
Oh my God.
There are some things we can only discover when we ditch the car and take it slowly. This time, I'll be walking with Bass Strait on one side and Port Phillip on the other. Unexploded bombs.
This walk has everything.
A place haunted by dramatic encounters.
So they'd selected the women that they were going to abduct and they were taken back out to the ship.
So join me. My step counter is going into overdrive, but you can just sit back and enjoy the views.
Just stunning.
Or maybe you'll decide to follow in my footsteps. I'm Julia Zamiero, and this is Great Australian Walks. Today, I'll be walking on Bunurong country in Victoria. I'm doing a 12-kilometre walk from Sorrento all the way around to the tip of the peninsula. Can't wait. I'm sailing across Port Phillip, south of Melbourne, to the Mornington Peninsula. It's a thin strip of land that separates these calm waters with the rough seas of Bass Strait. After I disembark, I'll start my walk in the beautiful town of Sorrento before heading into the rugged Point Nepean National Park. There, I'll explore an old quarantine station and make my way to the spectacular and historic Fort Nepean.
I have no food.
So intense. The first town I'm visiting is Sorrento, which was actually Victoria's first official European settlement in 1803. It was abandoned after 4 months due to a lack of fresh drinking water. Well, I'm glad I filled up my bottle on the boat. I actually lived in Melbourne for many years and I never came to Sorrento. And when I think about it, I think I worked too much. I often wouldn't kind of enjoy myself. Anyway, note to self for the future. So I've never been to Sorrento, and I know there's the song, Sorrento Moon, but my first popular culture reference as a crazy theatre student when I first moved to Melbourne was the play Hotel Sorrento, award-winning play by Hanny Raisin, Melbourne playwright, that got turned into a film, which is about squabbling families. And I think that's something we can all relate to, don't you? Anyway, oh, and the wealth. Sorrento's about wealth, isn't it? Now, strangely, Melbourne's actually over there. Feels like it should be there, but no, it's over there because we're in this peninsula that goes around. And apparently the further you get away from Melbourne, along here, the more expensive it becomes, which is kind of great because that's where we're starting the walk, at a place called Millionaire's Walk. Luckily, I've enlisted a local walker to help me find it. It's quite tricky. Hello, Tamsin.
Hello, Julia.
Oh, and it's so nice to have a guide. I'm going in.
Oh.
I'm going in. Now, I've heard that the beginning of this little walk is a bit tricky to find. Will you help me?
Yes, I'll help you. Let's
Great. You look like you know what you're doing and where you're going, Tamsin.
I think I know where I'm going. It's a tiny bit hard to find. There's a few signs, though.
Oh. Oh, right. Now, could the font on that sign be any bigger? See, to me that says stay out, in a way, because...
It's very official looking.
It's a very sophisticated... I don't even think you could see that at night.
It's not handwritten.
You go first.
Okay.
Nice. Open to the public.
Here we are.
Here we are. Now, this is actually a public path, then.
This is a public path. Well,
and yet,
this is...
we could just look in to any of these people's backyards.
Yep.
This house looks familiar to me.
Yes. Well, it might, because this is the house they filmed Hotel Sorrento in.
I was mentioning that earlier as my one reference that I know. How fabulous.
Yeah. It's got its own little pier.
Look at it, it's still in pretty
as
good
many
condition.
of them do.
Little piece of history right here.
Right
Theatre,
here.
film.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So it's a bit posh around here then.
You could say that. It's a bit posh. Probably one of the most expensive postcodes in Melbourne. But then again, you know, there are some nice little modest houses still, 1950s. How they were meant to be built.
We're allowed to be
There
here,
we
everyone.
go.
We're not breaking a rule. Keep your dog on a lead. Oh.
Morning, ladies.
Oh, morning.
Oh, hello.
Enjoying the walk?
We very much are enjoying the
We
walk.
certainly are.
What's your name?
John?
I'm Julia. This is Tamsin.
Tamsin?
Hello.
Is this private where we are right now, John?
No, well, there's a story to it, actually, which I only learnt when we bought the house some years ago, is that back in the early 1900s, a lady called Margaret Wright, owned all this land here. And in 1905, she gave to King George V a 2.01 metre walkway forever.
Wow.
So, which is great. That means that people can walk from Lenzel Avenue all the way to Point Nepean.
Right, so this is a royal gift.
A gift to the royals, to us.
So it's for the
Yes.
it's for the peasants.
So be careful when you vote for a republic. We might lose it.
So technically not on your land, John.
No, it's...
But can we go to your beach?
It's actually part of our land, but it's a carriageway. And actually, if you ask nicely, I'll let you walk down the stairs.
Oh my God, if I ask nicely. And that's what I love about the freedom of walking. Thank you, John.
Thanks,
Okay.
John.
Keep working hard. There's a lot of work to do there.
Keep waiting.
Oh, he's going to weed. That's nice. Look at this.
So you can kind of imagine how this would have been. So beautiful.
I know. Without
Full
houses.
without the houses. Apparently there was this rare, like, heaps of she oaks and swamp gums and
Swamp gums.
mooners and
Yes.
tea
Oh, yes,
tree.
the famous mooners.
Lots of tea tree. But then, yeah,
All gone.
kangaroos.
Kangaroos, of course.
Lots of-
Wildlife, yeah.
Lots of abundant source of food.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful.
Look how many boats there are now. It's interesting, so we're here with this amazing view, these millionaires' houses. We can hear construction going on, little dogs coming in and
hello.
out. But what's so beautiful about here and where I'm kind of going is this, you know, being able to walk and kind of explore. During COVID, what happened to you in terms of walking?
Lockdown was, you know, 5Ks, and everyone was walking madly, and we had this idea germinating to do a journal, walker's journal. And so it was our COVID baby, because we thought when everyone could get out of the 5K zone, maybe they'd want to go a lot further. And maybe they'd go, well, I really like this walking. I think I might go and explore a bit more. And so we started that during COVID.
Amazing.
Yes. I think people are realising that what's so great about walking is it's quite meditative, and you know, a lot of people are sort of needing that right now. I think that just sort of being in the moment.
Do people surprise themselves? How do they surprise themselves about walking? Do they often think
They
it's
do.
not for me, and then...
Yeah, I've walked with people that are in their 70s and 80s that I am in awe of because they don't think they're going to make it, and they do, and that's just, you know, fabulous. And then younger people, a lot of young people, our kids' generation, they are getting out there and hiking, and for them, it's just, you know, nature is, they've all realised that that's what they need, I think, for their mental health. So it's, you know, getting away for a few days with mates and hiking, it's a great thing to do.
And it's free.
And it's free.
It's free.
It's absolutely
everywhere.
free, and it's freeing.
I know, and very good for your mental health.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Tamsin. Oh, how lucky am I? All right,
See ya.
I'm off. I so wish I could take Tamsin with me the whole way to Fort Nepean. She's such an inspiring walker. But I'm going to leave her here at the private beaches to find a public beach to walk on. Now, I know it's not unusual to see ships out at sea, obviously, but there's a huge container ship, and when it first sort of appears, it feels kind of incongruous in this beautiful setting, doesn't it? But apparently, you can get apps that tell you what's on the boat. No, so this one apparently is from Liberia. It's just come from Sydney, and it's on its way to Port Melbourne. I think this is what we call container spotting. Still wrecks the view, though. I've left Sorrento, and now I'm tracing the coastline past the last town of the peninsula, Portsea. It's so surreal. This beach has just completely disappeared. Look what they've done. I've just walked into Point Nepean National Park, and already those Portsea mansions feel like they're miles away. Bliss. I think I need to change hats. It's getting hot. Was that really elegant, that sit down? It was, wasn't it? Was that the sit down of legs that are tied? Maybe. Sunsense, it's important. It's been very blowy, and now it's time to change hats, because I can. I'm a hat changer. Oh. I'm about 7 kilometres into my walk so far. It's a walk that starts in the beautiful coastal town of Sorrento, passes through Portsea, and then enters the Point Nepean National Park. First stop in the park is one of Australia's original quarantine stations, which has an unexpected modern history. Bit of a visitors' information centre. Human quarantine. The quarantine station was established in 1852 to protect Melbourne from highly contagious diseases. The arrival of the Clipper to Ticonderoga in November precipitated the need. Having left Liverpool in August, by the time it reached Port Phillip, there had been almost 100 deaths and nearly 400 passengers were ill with fever, diarrhoea and dysentery. A further 70 deaths occurred in quarantine. When disease-carrying ships arrived, passengers were taken ashore for processing. Then the males and females would be separated, stripped, scrubbed in hot showers, medically examined and vaccinated. Luggage, clothing and bedding was fumigated with formaldehyde gas. It's like those cruise ships that were coming into Sydney Harbour, and they kept them all on there before they could come off. Some were sort of stranded out at sea. You sort of think this stuff can't happen again, and it did. It's a funny feeling walking through here. Like, on the one hand, it feels like a school camp I went to in Year 7 for languages. But then this part here, I don't know, it just feels really bleak. And the dramatic kind of trees. So here's a map of the quarantine station. And it sort of looks like a little village or something, but the names are a bit grim. Leper Station, Isolation Hospital, Influenza Pandemic Huts, the Disinfection Block, Laundry and Baths. Yeah. And it was used quite a few times over the years as well. So I think the jetty would have been somewhere around here. Like, if you look at the map, that was sort of the first class accommodation, and the jetty looks like it was sort of here. And I guess in a way it was like a modern day customs to get into the country. This was the point where you'd enter the country and get through. It makes me think of, I came to Australia from France by boat. I was 2, I don't remember a lot of it, but my mum's Australian, my dad's French, and so getting into Australia was never going to be a problem. We had an address to go to in Queensland, but I remember Mum saying the boat went, we stopped off everywhere, Pompeii, South Africa, Perth, went round the bottom of Australia, came past here, we must have, to go to Melbourne, and then landed in Sydney, and then got a plane to Queensland. We made some friends on the boat, a couple with a kid, and we were friends with them for a very long time. And because they didn't have an Australian contact, they did have to go to a migrant centre, a quite nice one. It was clean and everything until they found a job and accommodation. And yeah, we met this little boy on the boat, Luis, and we were friends for ages. But yeah, I can't imagine. But there was no quarantine, according to Mum. You just visited and went around. So to arrive here and kind of face that and possible death, it's full on. I'm going to meet someone who spent a lot of time here. He wasn't quarantined here, but he was a translator for some refugees who stayed here in 1999. Eric, it's such a delight to be able to speak with you. Tell me about that first meeting of these refugees, and John Howard was there as well.
Well, the refugees who came, as you can imagine, they came straight from a war, traumatized from what is now North Macedonia, in the camps where they were held. And when they landed, this was in Sydney airport, in the back blocks, and we received them, and John Howard was there. So as they started coming down from the plane, the gesture, of course, is for them to feel quite at home. I responded spontaneously and embraced the first family that came, the first man. And John Howard, he was sort of for a minute, didn't quite know what to do, but then, to his credit, he actually embraced them and welcomed them in the same way, in that same spirit.
I'm about 10 kilometres into my walk on an old trail named Coles Track that stretches from the quarantine station to Cheviot Hill. But before I get there, I'm taking a quick detour to visit one of the many pristine beaches that this walk passes by. Can you hear the sea? It's hard on this walk, of course, not to be confronted by all the things Europeans have done here. Colonisation, quarantine stations, disease, mansions, private beaches. But before the Europeans, the Bunurong people were here. And I'm off to meet Tasma Walton and Auntie Gail Dawson to hear the story of their people. Ooh, the sound of the ocean.
Oh, my.
Hello, Tasma. Hello, Auntie Gail. Long time no see to you.
Darling. Oh, good to see
So
you.
good to see you.
Thank you for coming.
I'm coming around
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome.
We're so glad that you came here, Julia. So now we're going to use the smoking to cleanse all of us and make us safe.
And what this fire and this smoke also does is help cleanse the energy of country. You know, because we believe that country holds all of the imprint of everything that's happened on it. And a simple fire and the smoke will help shift that for country as well.
Bathe yourself in the smoke.
Thank you so much for meeting us here. Why is this a particular sorry place for the Bunurong people?
This is where the abduction of the women happened. Do you want to tell that story?
So yeah, a schooner came through the heads and then a collection of sealing men came in a whaler to shore. They had with them at the time a Tasmanian Aboriginal woman who connected with our women here and sort of enticed them towards the boat with all of these things to show them. And then the sealers had organised a sort of a signal. So they'd selected the women that they were going to abduct and they signalled to each other the moment to grab them, bind them and take them back out to the ship. And they were taken over to the islands off the coast of Tasmania, and our particular ancestor was then taken all the way over to the islands off the coast of Albany in Western Australia. Wow. And despite multiple times where she begged government officials to return her to her country, she died there, away from her home. She was taken from her country and she was taken to the other side of the continent and forced to become somebody else. And her children, her 3 daughters from which we all descend, were told, you know, above all else, do not identify as Aboriginal. And in fact, today, the descendants of the Bunurong people are the descendants of those women who were abducted. The wonderful thing for us is that the strength of our ancestor, she passed down her stories. She passed down her saltwater stories. This is her marital country here. So birth country over sort of Yellowcoot Willem Way, St Kilda, Werribee Way, and then married into Wā Moiety here. So that kind of real strength of identity for her, she instilled in her daughters to the point where my ancestral line returned.
So Tasma, you're over in Western Australia, that's where you grew up. How did you find out that you had a Bunurong connection?
I always felt like, you know, I had Aboriginality in my blood. So for me, my journey was, I moved to Sydney when I was 18 to study at NIDA, and pretty much the second day that I'd arrived in Sydney, I was asked about my Aboriginality. And it was just like a tick, tick, tick. It was a reignition of that DNA memory.
And in a way, your work got you sort of back on country, on your country.
Ancestors,
Tell me that.
calling me back. So my first big job was Blue Heelers. And Blue Heelers was shot, I would say at least 95% was shot on Bunurong country.
Oh my goodness.
So our studios were in South Melbourne. Our exterior police station and exterior Mount Thomas was Williamstown. And then when you go out to all the farmers' lands, we were going out to Werribee.
Oh my goodness.
All of these places, Bunurong country. So the ancestors are going, come here, come, whoop whoop, come back to country and get reconnected. What is really interesting about this place too is that feeling of anguish and despair and desolation is really on that point of the beach where we instinctively feel the event took place. But it's interesting when you come to this little patch. So, traditionally, this is a place, it's like a little shopping mall. You get your ochre, you get your, food from the rock pools, you get all of your, things that you can make your tools out of, or your seaweed grass skirts. And when we first, the times that we come here, we always feel like this is a family place. You can hear the kids laughing and running over and finding things and coming back to their mums and going, look what I've got, look what I've got. And, country will always hold that memory as well.
Thank you for telling those stories. We know now truth-telling is a term now. We know what that means. And read about it, get a book. Thank you, because they're incredible stories, and you can look at an incredible place like this and see and know the trauma on the one hand and the family shopping centre celebration on the other.
I want to stay. I'm heading off, I don't know where. I'm just going to...
Safe travel.
Thank you.
Enjoy your walk.
I feel safe. See you. Bye-bye.
See ya.
I'm just so blown away by how people like Tasma and Auntie Gail have to constantly have the patience and the courage to tell a story to those of us who still don't know not even a tenth of the history of this place. And that reminder that this once was a place of happiness and thriving culture. I also can't help thinking that that quarantine station was set up to protect the rest of white Australia from getting diseases, and it sort of did its job, but still whole generations of Indigenous people have been wiped out. The Bunurong people, for instance, here. I'm nearing the end of my walk, which has been full of stunning scenery, but I've been told some of the best is still to come. Next stop is the lookout on top of Cheviot Hill, then off to the pointy end of this peninsula at Fort Nepean. You know, there aren't many countries that can boast of a Prime Minister that went out for a swim one day and never came back. Well, that happened to an Australian Prime Minister called Harold Holt up here in 1967. He drowned, or did he? Or was he perhaps taken by a Chinese submarine? I mean, we'll never know. Or will we? Well, I'm about to go and meet someone who has a quite an interesting perspective on the story. Follow me. Something tells me there's a hill involved, like a big one. Come on. Oh, look, I'm all for a warning sign. That seems a bit severe. Unexploded bombs. Unexploded bombs. Wow, this walk has everything. I'm wrapped. Might just not go cross country. Might just stay on the path. There was a fork in the road and I decided to take this one because it looks more scenic. Oh, look at that! Oh, another little chocolate bar of a surprise. Yes, please. Oh, it's so tantalising because it's just a taste of it because you know you'll be right in it in a minute. Hang on to your hats. Wow. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Julia.
Look at this.
Isn't it wonderful?
Lovely to meet you. Look at this. This is incredible. Now, firstly, what did I just walk through?
Well, this was a military base out here, so it's full of these forts and underground tunnels and catacombs and gun emplacements.
Well,
So,
it was quite exciting to walk through, and what a reveal. Fantastic. Shall we sit down and have a chat?
let's do that.
Tom, I was reflecting walking up the hill that it's not many countries that can boast of having lost a Prime Minister out at sea. And Harold Holt in 1967 drowned on this very coast. And you've got a special perspective on this, Tom. Why is that?
Well, I met Mr. Holt when I was 7 in the summer of 1964-65. We used to come down here for all of our Christmas holidays. This day, there was a car parked above Cheviot Beach, just down here. As we approached, we saw a man in the vehicle sitting in the driver's seat, and he seemed to slip back into his wetsuit and got out of the car and approached our car. And I heard my parents say, "Good God, it's the treasurer." And I didn't know what a treasurer was, but he sounded someone precious. And the treasurer came up to the driver's window and spoke to Dad and said, "Look, I've locked my keys in the boot of the car. Would you mind giving me a lift back to my home in Portsea, where I've got a separate set of keys?" And so, of course, we said, "Sure, hop in." A friendly man, a lovely smile. I liked him.
It is a very treacherous stretch of water. Like, you'd probably swim on the other side rather than swim on this side.
Absolutely. It is known to be a treacherous beach, a dangerous beach. But this was Harold Holt's playground, you know, because as a government official, he could have access to this, and it's somewhere where he could come with his family and not be in public, you know.
Well, it's privacy, I guess, too, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a world that he loved, you know. He was such a keen underwater swimmer, and he used to practice holding his breath in Parliament during boring debates, you know.
Did he really? So 3 years later, you're 10. What's your first inkling of the news of Harold Holt's disappearance?
There was a news flash on TV, and suddenly there's footage of helicopters and police down on the beach where we had seen Mr. Holt just 3 years before, and where my father, I felt, had kind of predicted this tragedy, because he'd drawn our attention afterwards to the rips on the beach. He'd said, "This is why it's such a dangerous beach."
Heads of state and chief ministers from many countries made the long journey to pay their personal tribute to a man they knew well. Now they came to pay their last respects.
Of course, there were a lot of conspiracy theories around Harold Holt's disappearance. It's like human beings just can't let something, maybe the most obvious answer, be true. So what were some of the conspiracies there were?
Well, the most notorious was that he was a Chinese spy.
Oh, he was actually a Chinese spy?
Yeah, that he had all his life been a secret Chinese spy.
Oh, my.
And that ASIO was getting onto him in 1967 and it was time to make his disappearance. And that he faked his death and that he was pulled underwater by some Chinese skin divers into the tower of a Chinese submarine that was supposed to be submerged out here off Cheviot Beach. I think he gave himself to the sea. You know, it was where he relaxed. It was his favourite medium, a medium that he could possibly misunderstand, and did on that day.
Tom, you've had some amazing insights for us. Thank you for sharing so many of those stories. Yeah, it's a story that's hard to forget. It kind of lingers, doesn't it?
It sure does. It's something that's haunted me, really.
Really?
All my life,
yeah.
yes.
Lovely to meet you.
Oh, it's so
Thank
good to
you.
meet you too.
Thank
Good luck
you,
with
Tom.
your walk.
Oh, thank you. Got a bit more to go.
Yes.
As you walk along this kind of skinnier part of the road, you can literally see Bass Strait on the left, crazy and rough. Port Phillip Bay on the right, sort of calmer, and you just think, why would you go swimming there? You have to be a thrill seeker, I guess, or risk taker, fatalist. I'd rather swim there, I think. I'm now literally at the pointy end of my walk, heading up to Fort Nepean. I don't think I've ever been to a fort before. So Fort Nepean apparently was quite crucial in stopping threats of war to Victoria and was a sort of a first point of contact and defence. So the first shots at midnight Berlin time on 4th of August 1914, Great Britain declared war on Germany. Simultaneously, 5th of August, AEST, a German steamer was attempting to depart Port Phillip before it could be interned. At approximately 12:45 p.m, this barrel fired, convincing the captain, the German captain, to stop. And this was the first shot the British Empire shot of World War I. But I mean, war, what's it good for? Absolutely zip. Listen to that water, it's raging. Okay, so this is the Rip Fort Nepean. It's the Rip, the Rip. And you can see, look at that, look at the movement in that water. All swirling in, crossing against each other. stunning to look at, wouldn't swim there. That's a little tip from me. But it's incredible. Look at this place. So many of the stories today have been quite emotional, and it's interesting how really it's one of those walks where the shape of the land, the geography, the water inform those stories so strongly. You just can't separate the two. And again, you discover so much more when you're walking, so don't let the machines win. Everything is in walking distance if you can just find the time. Oh, breathe it in.